Welcome to The Source, where we combine the headlines with in-depth conversations with the newsmakers themselves. I'm Pinky Webb. Today on the program, the most beautiful woman in the universe will be crowned today. What are the chances of Philippine bet Beatrice Luigi Gomez in winning the 5th Miss Universe crown for the country? Pageant expert Norman Tinio joins us live. And the Philippines has yet to detect the Omicron COVID-19 variant, but are we doing enough to secure our borders? And later, the Health Department eyes giving booster shots 3 months after the second dose. World Health Organization Country Representative Rabindra Abaya Singha tells us more live. And happy news here on CNN Philippines. The country's bet Beatrice Luigi Gomez enters the top 16 of the 70th Miss Universe competition. The pageant is now being held in Israel. She's still on the run to win the country's 5th Miss Universe crown. Gomez's placement in the top 16 continues the quote placement streak of the Philippines since 2010. Other countries who made it to the top 16 are France, Colombia, Singapore, Panama, Puerto Rico, the Bahamas, Japan, Great Britain, USA, India, Vietnam, Aruba, Paraguay, Venezuela, and South Africa. The top 16 will now compete in the swimsuit round to determine the next set of finalists. And we will give you more details as they become available to us together with our source. Let's go straight to the source of the story. We have pageant expert Norman Tinio. Tito Norman, welcome to the source. So good to see you again.
Hello, Pinky, and good morning to everyone. So we're all excited here.
Sabi ko nga, breaking news and happy news. Bea made it to the top 16. So it was 5, and then hindi ko na kasi nakita yung third batch. Yung third batch ba yung 6 na yung pumasok?
6 na. They called the fan vote winner first, and then they called the 11th to 12th to 16th after that.
I see. So we're so happy Bea made it, and I was looking at your prediction. Sino doon sa mga pinredict mo? Kasi I think you predicted possibly Israel would also make it, hindi ba?
I placed Israel as
kasi you did
like
18.
My parang posible lang, no? I posted 16 girls but 18 in total because I indulged my readers with 2 extra picks.
Yes.
And Israel was one of them just because I used the host delegate card for her, because I was just thinking that as host delegate, Israel could be part of the first cut as well.
Okay, so let's stick to Bea first. Bea, what were her strong qualities you think that made her make it to the top 16?
She was very cool, calm, and collected. Very classy, Pinky. She wasn't overdoing anything. She's doing everything right. Just like a good cup of coffee, everything is blended well. And I think the judges saw that her presentation is very mature. Mature in the sense that you don't need too much theatrics or antics to please the judges. You just need to be very technical about it as well. Kasi that's what happened with Bea. The technique, it shows in the way she walks, the way she glides on stage. And I think the judges noticed that.
What do you think was so special about her performance, aside from you saying, from how I understand it, she didn't go overboard and she definitely did not go under, di ba? Parang sabi nga like a perfect cup of coffee. But there's so many. I mean, ang dami talagang magagaling, magaganda. And when you watch them pose, I mean, it's so hard to even choose who the 16 will be. What stood out for her, you think?
Well, let's be honest, Pinky. The sash factor is very important. So, which means that there is always this anticipation for Miss Philippines. So, that is a very good advantage, considering that you have 80 girls here, watching them walk on stage almost the same, but the judges would always look out for the ones who usually stand out or the countries who usually place. So if they hear Miss Philippines is already being called on stage for her preliminary presentation, the judges would look at her more intently. Dahil Miss Philippines yan eh. She's carrying the sash. So I don't care what other people would say, but when you're Miss Philippines,
There is an
you are
advantage, huh?
already being given a special look and attention.
Yeah, there is an advantage now. Okay, I wanted to get your thoughts on how she performed during her swimsuit run, the swimsuit competition, and of course, yung national costume category.
Well, sa swimsuit competition kasi, it's really the walk that you will look for because first of all, the legs are showing, so you can see how she glides on stage, and the choice of the swimwear as well. They wore Gothic swimwear, and they had the freedom to choose whatever cut, whatever color that they want. So the choice of color was just right. It's red for Bea, and the choice of cut was good for her body because I've always thought that Bea would always stand out in a one-piece swimwear because her form is more emphasized in a one-piece swimwear. Now, in the national costume part, I already had an inkling because I know the designer and what she did with Bea during Miss Universe Philippines is sort of a preview already of what's going to be presented for Miss Universe. So true enough, it's the 2.0 version of her Miss Universe Philippines costume, which is the Bakunawa. And
Yeah.
I think it's one of the most beautiful national costumes that we've ever sent and totally unique. Pinky?
Yeah, yeah. So as Tita Norman and I are discussing this, what's happening right now is the swimsuit competition right now. And
Yes.
kakatapos lang ni Colombia, ni Singapore. Who were the women that you were surprised made it to the top 16?
First of all, her roommate, Singapore.
Yeah.
Well, I would always look out for Singapore because I know the national director of Miss Universe Singapore. But there were just so many gorgeous ladies
Weren't
in the
there?
roster.
It's so hard to choose.
It's very, very hard. Actually, to even pick one as your prediction to win, it's like you're really going out on a limb, and the limb is not as strong as you would think it is because there were so many, and you know.
So
Sometimes,
who was the surprise for you? So Singapore.
Singapore, the Bahamas, and Aruba.
Okay.
Those are really surprises.
Did you did you
yeah.
include Paraguay ba to your prediction?
Paraguay is my number one pick.
I see. Okay.
It's my choice to win, actually.
Ganun ba?
Yeah.
Very strong din yung nung in-interview siya ni Steve. She talked about human rights and how, she couldn't find a seat in the table. Di ba? Yun si Paraguay, di ba?
Yes, yes.
Tita Norman, did you notice how it's seemingly natural, confident, at ang galing ng interview skills ng mga of the ladies?
Mm-hmm.
Parang nagle-level up sila sa mga sagot nila, sa ganda nila, sa pagka-confident nila.
You have to consider that Miss Universe has been evolving the past 2 years, especially when the pandemic happened. It has to reinvent itself. So which means that the ladies joining are also reinventing themselves. So aside from being very social media savvy, they need to know how to establish rapport very quickly. As in just 5 seconds. Like when the top 16 were being called, you need to establish rapport with Steve Harvey instantly. And it shows the judges if you are quick and on your toes when it comes to starting a conversation or even a
Right.
small talk with an
In that
important
in
person.
that less than a minute rapport between you and Steve Harvey. So we're still watching the swimsuit competition,
And
and
have you seen Bea?
huh?
Have you seen Bea?
I'm trying to glance on my left and also trying to continue on with this interview. And tapos na ba? Wala
You
pa,
can
di
just
ba?
imagine how antsy I'm feeling right now because my back is on the TV and I couldn't look back.
Tito Norman, I will allow you to look at the screen because I think Philippines is going to be up soon. Hindi pa siya nag-ano, no? Not yet? Yeah, I don't think so. So,
But it's okay. I can
there
always
you
watch it
go.
later.
Tito Norman, watch
There.
it.
Are you happy so far? I hope the tattoo doesn't bother you.
Unfortunately, I lost my connection here. So tell me how she's doing. Are you able to see it?
Not very vividly because I was trying to move my head back and
Okay.
forth like
Sige. All right, so this is what we do. We will take a very short break. We will continue to discuss this very shortly. Please stay tuned. You're watching The Source on CNN Philippines, and still breaking news. The country's vet, Beatrice Luigi Gomez, enters the top 16 of the 70th Miss Universe competition. The pageant is now being held in Israel. She's still in the run to win the country's 5th Miss Universe crown. Gomez's placement in the top 16 continues the coat placement streak of the Philippines since 2010. Other countries who made it are France, Colombia, Singapore, Panama, Puerto Rico, the Bahamas, Japan, Great Britain, USA, India, Vietnam, Aruba, Paraguay, Venezuela, and South Africa. The top 16 are now competing in the swimsuit round that just finished to determine the next set of finalists. So let's go straight to the source of the story. We still have pageant expert Tito Norman Tinio. Tito Norman, so tapos na po yung swimsuit, and then what's next? Tatawagin na ho ba yung top 10?
yes, they will call the top 10 who will then change into their evening gowns for the evening gown competition.
Wow. So ito na, moment of truth, because from 16 that will be reduced to 10.
10.
Who are your top 10?
I would stick to the strong ones in my prediction. Of course, that would include Paraguay, India, Colombia, Venezuela, Philippines, even France, even Japan. Japan is a surprise for me actually, but hindi yung surprise talagang it floored me, no? So I would be happy if both roommates, Philippines and Singapore, would enter because that would be nice because we've been in close association with the Miss Universe Singapore organization as well.
And
Pinky.
remember, Tito Norman, when Steve called Singapore, when he spoke to her, she said this parang it was a surprise because they haven't been in the top 16 for so long.
Exactly. The last time they were in the first cut was way back in 1987 when Singapore hosted Miss Universe. So that's a long wait, and I think Nandita Bana is she must be overjoyed to
Let's
say the
talk
least.
about just Brazil. Parang na-break yung kanilang streak, no, for not being able to
Exactly,
enter.
exactly. Yeah. You have to remember also that during the preliminary competition, I think it's Brazil, one of the two girls who slipped on stage. Well, not that slipping on stage is a big thing because it's such a 1999 craze slipping on stage, but it it could have affected her scores
Really?
because when you're just getting a top 15 from a field of 80, um, the scores must be so close that you're not even talking of having a 1 or 2 or 3 point advantage over another girl. It must be just a fraction of a point. So everything matters when you're faced with a bevy of 80 beautiful girls. The smallest mistake counts
Who
in
was,
terms of
yeah, who was your biggest disappointment for not making it to the top 16?
Spain, definitely, because Spain is actually in my top five. So Spain, I wanted her to make it at least the top 16 para kompleto yung aking list, no? And another girl who I wanted to be part of the first cut, but after the preliminary competition, I had a feeling that she won't make it, is Thailand, another pageant loving country. But I just figured out that I was watching the preliminary competition for the second, third time, and she was just, there was sadness in her face during her presentations. And I think it's that kind of presentation, it didn't get lost on the judges' score sheets. Pinky?
So, let's just very quickly, when I was watching a part of it, the hosts were saying that Colombia supposed to be was very raw and very real. And then we talked about Paraguay. I'm sorry, I'm looking at my phone because my notes are here. Talked about human rights. And then Singapore, obviously, as we discussed a while ago, she was very surprised. And then also France. Si France, nakita mo yung parang gulat din niya and medyo nervyos, no, when she spoke to Steve?
Actually, ang gulat factor niya stems from the fact that she had to stay in quarantine for 10 days before she could actually join the other ladies because she tested positive for COVID when she arrived in Israel. So there will always be this thought, if you wonder when yung ganung classic ordeal, there will always be this thought na, oh my, I think this is a lost cause. I won't, I won't even make it. But during the preliminary competition, she wowed everyone. She was a classic Miss France in terms of her moves and her facial expressions.
Yeah.
Pinky?
Who are your top three?
My top
Three.
three?
Or would it be fair to ask you that? Kasi dito papasok si Q&A di ba? Before the top
True.
5 and top 3.
True, because actually you can pick your top three the minute they hold the mic.
Yeah.
Top five. But based solely on my final predictions, my top three are Paraguay, Venezuela, and India. They were not always looking out for Venezuela because they were focusing on Paraguay, India, and Puerto Rico. But now that Spain is out of the picture, then effectively Puerto Rico moves to my top 5 because she is number 6 on my list.
Okay.
Yes.
So as we speak, pretty soon, they will be calling the top 10,
10.
I believe. But we're not going to have time for that, unfortunately, because I still have another guest, Tito Norman,
Yes.
and I'm sure you're waiting to go back and watch it more clearly.
Exactly,
Oh, ayan.
Pinky.
Let's start
yeah.
with Paraguay, already in. And I think Paraguay was already in. But anyway, we're going to have to go. Tito Norman, always thank you. And I hope maybe tomorrow we can speak again.
Yes, please. I thank you for having me, and let's still hope for the best for Miss Philippines.
Absolutely. Thank you to pageant expert Norman Tinio.
Thank you.
Coming up, the Philippines has yet to detect an Omicron COVID-19 variant case, but are we doing enough to prepare our health system? You're watching The Source on CNN Philippines. Please stay tuned.